Okay, I cannot mess around with this shirt anymore. I'm wearing a shirt. It just doesn't look like it. But I am. Hey makeup friends, today we're going to be talking about some new makeup releases, but I'm going to do it in a slightly different format than what I typically do. I'm going to look at the 6 items that I am the most interested in, and I believe I have 7 items that I'm really not interested in. So anything that's kind of in that middle ground, I'm just not going to be mentioning here. There are a ton of new release videos available on YouTube. My friend Angie does a weekly series. I will link her down below, and she talks about a ton of products in all of her videos. But I'm finding that it's becoming overwhelming for me to do so. So I'm going to take a different approach and try to narrow it down and really have this focus of what's at the top and what's at the bottom, in my opinion. But before we get into that, I want to welcome you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then welcome. My name is Kara. I'm a 40-year-old working mom of 2, and I just happen to really love makeup. On my channel, we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, so I think I'm going to kind of go back and forth. We're going to start with one that I'm not interested in, go with one that I am, and just stagger them that way. So let's dive in. So in no particular order, one that I am just not interested in is the new Paint Pro palette. Can't say it. The new Paint Pro palette from Glamlite. It's not because I think that it's not going to perform well. It's not because I don't like the colors. Really what it comes down to is just the size of the palette. I already have the original paint palette from them. I rarely use it. It's a pain in the butt to store, and I really don't want a second one of them. Ultimately, looking at these colors versus what's in the original, I guess I should move over. I would have actually preferred to have had this color story over the original one, but I have the original one. I'm not going to part ways with it just so that I can buy this one. It's not a palette that I need. I think it is very pretty, and had it been set out in a regular rectangular palette, I would have probably looked at it long and hard, and I might ultimately have purchased it. But because it's in this just gigantic casing, I don't want it in my collection. I don't have a need for it, and therefore I am not going to be buying it. Now, another reason why I don't necessarily want to pick up that Glamlite palette is because I am interested in this one. And in fact, I'm more than interested in it. I ordered this one. So this is the Fade into Hue palette from Colourpop, a nice rainbow palette. I really don't need any more rainbow palettes in my life. I really don't, but this one just got me. I like that it's laid out in accordance with the spectrum. I just like linear things. I like things that are organized like that. I don't like where there's colors scattered about all willy-nilly. It just makes me twitchy. I don't enjoy it. But I like the aesthetic of this. I like the amount of shimmers versus mattes. We'll see how those pressed glitters do. But I really just think it looks very pretty. And so I did hop on this one when it launched. It hasn't arrived yet, so I haven't had a chance to actually see it in person. But these shades are very similar to what is in that Glamlite palette, and I certainly don't need 2 of those kind of palettes. And since I've already ordered this one, and since I don't want the gigantic packaging from the other, obviously I'm going for this one over the other. Heading back to items that I'm just not interested in is this entire collection from Sugarpill. This is the anniversary capsule collection, and it really doesn't do anything for me. If you purchase the entire PR kit, that's going to run you $190 US. For that, you're getting 3 liquid lipsticks, 3 glosses, 5 loose pigments, and then the palette as well. The layout of this palette makes me twitchy. I do not like this whatsoever. I don't like that it looks like a molecule. I don't like it. I don't know if it's like encased in actual resin or if those pans are just floating and suspended by those little bits of white plastic. If they're not actually like fully encased in something, I would worry that eventually they would snap or just something would happen to them. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. The colors themselves are pretty, but It's not super compelling to me. It's certainly not compelling enough for me to get over the layout of the palette. And then the loose pigments, I just don't tend to use them very often. I love the look of loose pigments. Like, I have made this mistake a number of times in curating the collection that I have, is that I will buy a ton of loose pigments because they look gorgeous. And then I get them here and I'm just like, yeah, but you're a pain in the ass to work with. So just live in the drawer for a bit. And then eventually I declutter them. So I know for me that that is not bringing anything to the table for my own preferences. There's honestly nothing in this collection that piques my interest. So it's a really easy no for me. So let's talk about another palette then that I have ordered, and that one is this guy here from Viseart. This is the Violette palette, and it's basically an extension to their Liaison palette, which I also have. This looks so beautiful to me. These purple tones, the neutrals that are in there, I just cannot wait to get it in my hands. I think it's so incredibly beautiful. Even the outer packaging is really pretty on this. I will say Viseart and I have found them to be a little hit or miss. Their larger palettes, like of this size, I don't have any of their like really big palettes. Those ones I find to be the best performing. Their 6-pan palettes, not a huge fan of, but I am really excited to try this one out. I think it looks so beautiful. This is the first thing that I purchased with my new beauty budget that I have set for myself starting this month. And I have no regrets about purchasing this. I am excited to try this one. So from a brand that I have not heard of before, this is Laveed Lashes? Laveed Lashes? I don't know. Laveed Lashes? I don't know how to say it. I apologize. I'm sorry. But they are releasing 4 styles of lashes, only one of which I would deign to put on my eyes, but the other 3 look like literal spiders crawling out of her eyeballs, and I cannot get on board with it. These are altogether way too much lash for my liking. Like, they would be up over my eyebrows. All I could think was like, hey, these lashes are totally wearing me. I am not wearing these lashes. I do not approve whatsoever. And like this style here, I don't even know what it's called. Like this, I don't know what it is, but this picture makes me intensely uncomfortable. And all I can picture is finding one of these lashes sitting on the counter in the morning following like a drunken makeup removal, and I will have a fucking heart attack because I will think it is some sort of mythical creature come to eat my soul. Okay, we'll tone it down a notch. We'll go back to something that I'm interested in. I don't have any major plans to go out and buy these at any point, but I'm curious. What I am talking about are these new cream shadows from Smashbox. These are their new always on cream shadows. They come in a variety of shades. The 2 that really get me are ochre and ultramarine. In particular, ultramarine. Olive is also very pretty, but if I could only choose 2, those would be the 2 I would go for. I would be curious to try them, but I believe they're $22 US each, which is a pretty hefty price point. That's our dollar's getting better, but around 26 Canadian each. And cream shadows are not something that I reach for very often, but when they are done right, they can be a helpful little one and done kind of shadow. This is the kind of thing, Smashbox is carried by Shoppers Drug Mart. This is the kind of product that I would definitely pick up to try when I'm cashing in Shoppers Drug Mart points, but I don't know that I'm going to part with my hard-earned money in my fairly restrictive budget in order to buy these. Artist Couture is also coming out with some new products. So this is the Club Daddy collection. First of all, I don't like the name, but that's neither here nor there. That just probably speaks to my age. So you get the Club Daddy Pressed Pigment and Eyeshadow Palette. My friends and I talk about this all the time. The distinction between pressed pigment and eyeshadow, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. A pressed pigment is just an eyeshadow by any other name. So when brands put that in there, like, just take it with a grain of salt. It also comes with a pressed highlighter, and then there are Diamond Lights finisher and a silk cream lipstick. When I saw this picture, it immediately made me think of the Makeup Forever Artist Palette number 2, I believe it was. It's not an exact dupe, but it has like very similar ideas with like the pink and the purple and the blue differences, but I've seen this before. I've seen this years ago. So this isn't really all that exciting to me, and frankly I hate that the pans are tilted in the palette. Again, I'm very picky over that. It has nothing to do with the performance or anything of that sort of the product. It's just my own personal aesthetic preferences. But this isn't it for me. I'm not interested in this. I have his Supreme Nudes palette. I fucking love that palette. I can't stop talking about that palette. But this one just, it looks dated somehow to me. And it just doesn't look like anything that I'm interested in trying. I am, however, very interested in trying this new formula from Fenty. So, as you may or may not know, I am a huge fan of the Gloss Balm from Fenty, and now they are coming out with the Gloss Balm Cream formula, and I am on board with that. I am very curious to see how this goes. I like their liquid lipstick. I like their gloss. I have no doubt that I'm going to like this one, but I'm curious to try it. I think I might end up picking up the shade Fenty Glow or possibly Fruit Snacks. I don't know. That's going to be a game day decision, but those two colors are the ones that jump out to me. These are releasing on December 10th on the Fenty Beauty website and also at Sephora, and I am going to be sure to set aside a bit of my budget so that I can pick one of these up and test it out. They're going to retail for $19 US, so about 23-ish, 24 Canadian. But I'm excited to try this one because I have loved every lip product that I have tried from Fenty. These next items are not makeup, but they are brought to us by one of the OG beauty YouTubers, Desiperkins, and that is her new sunglass collection. I believe it's called the Hot Nude collection. And I cannot express to you how much I hate them. I would feel so ridiculous in any of these styles, like just complete, like a complete tool. The only ones that I could potentially maybe see myself wearing if I had to would be the ones on the top right, but the rest of them, I would look like a child playing dress up. Like I just cannot pull this style off. I do not have the overall sense of style to make these work. I detest them. These retail anywhere from 65 US up to 85 US, and for that price point, I'm not going to try them, especially when I don't like the style. That's not to say if you love the style, you go nuts. That is perfectly acceptable. But on me, I would be so self-conscious trying to wear any of these shades that it's just not going to happen. So there you have it. Those are my feelings. Okay, moving on from there. Let's talk about Lunar Beauty. Now this one has been out for a little while, but this is the Eternal Eclipse collection. Comes with the palette, there's some brushes, and there's 2 lip products as well. I am on the fence. I'm squarely on the fence about this one. I think the packaging is stellar. I do like his shadow formula. I have never had an issue with it, so from that perspective, I'm totally cool with this. I do like the color story in here, but I don't know that I really need this palette. I'm curious about it, I'm interested in it, but I'm going to wait until it goes on sale because here's the thing, I'm in Canada. If I buy from his website, the shipping starts around 20 some odd dollars US, which is already going to inflate the cost of this for me by about $25, $28. So it's a hefty price tag for the palette to begin with, especially if I purchase it in US dollars, have to pay the conversion, have to pay 20 some odd dollars Canadian for shipping, and then get dinged with the duties on top of that as well. And even if I buy it from Beauty Bay, it's currently listed, I think it's about $73 just for the palette on Beauty Bay. So 73 Canadian. They have flat rate shipping of $10, takes it to 83, and then I'm going to get dinged with duties when it arrives. And those will probably be in the $15 range. So we're looking $100 for a palette that includes shades that I already have in my collection. So as much as I would love to have this palette and as pretty as I think that it is, I have to ask myself, do I really want to spend $100 on this palette? Okay. Okay, let's talk about Dragon Beauty. I, first of all, don't want to support Nikita Dragon basically ever. I think she's a terrible role model, constantly embroiling herself in drama, just making really shitty decisions, including like non-stop partying during a pandemic. It's like, if you've been called out on that and you still want to party during a pandemic, like, go right ahead. It's your life, whatever. But like, could you at least have some sense and just keep it off of social media? Like, maybe not let your impressionable tween audience see the shenanigans that you're up to. Like, just a little bit of self-awareness, perhaps. But at the same time, I suspect rather strongly that she's one of these people who just really thrives on attention, whether it's positive or negative. That's just my impression. I know nothing about this person, but regardless, I don't like these little egg things. Like, I feel like she's painting herself into the corner and like really doubling down on this whole dragon thing. Like, you can just call it Dragon Beauty. Like, it doesn't have to be an actual egg. You did that. You didn't have to continue doing. You can take a break from it. It's okay. Because this just looks childish. Like, this looks like a palette that I could buy for my daughter at Claire's Accessories. And that's not to say that the color stories are terrible, although frankly, that purple with like the warmish brown and then that like almost mustardy kind of tone, not wild on that color story. The blue with the green is a little bit more up my alley, but they're not compelling palettes to me at all. They also kind of look like a cheaper version of a Kaleidos palette. I have no idea how the quality of this is going to stack up to Kaleidos. They've got big shoes to fill, I'll say, but I just like, can Dragon Beauty just not be a thing anymore? Can we just like, just ignore it, please? I guess that could start with me just not mentioning it ever again, but like, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? That's the summary of my feelings on this. I can't be any more articulate than that. I just don't give a fuck. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, but I have saved the item that I'm the most excited for now, and that is this new range of lip products from Juvias Place. They are coming out with reds, and I am here for it. I am so excited. These are launching on December 10th. You can pre-order them now, but they're not going to ship until December 10th. So this is the Reds and Berries collection. There are, oh gosh, 3 in the red cherry family for their lipsticks, 3 in the red wine family, and 3 in the berry family. There are 2 glass glosses, which are a little bit more sheer, and then there are 4 lip reflect glosses. There's also 2 matte liquid lipsticks, but I think they're just the little mini guys. And then there are 2 new lip liners as well. I really like the lip products that I have tried from them. So I do have one of the liners, and I really like that it does glide on really nicely and it is retractable, which is a bonus. And I also have one of the lipsticks from Juvia's Place, and I think it's amazing. I have their liquid lipstick formula as well, and I freaking love it. I was wearing it in a recent video where I had black lipstick on. It's so good. So I think that those mini liquid lipsticks would be really nice. The formula is really comfortable and easy to wear. I have not tried the glosses, but there are a few shades in these glosses that I am very, very much interested in. I am here for this. I like some of those really deep shades in particular. I am really very much interested in. I love the formula of these lipsticks. They're so creamy and pigmented and comfortable to wear. They don't feather or get like stupid on your That's super helpful. They don't like pill up or get like really dried out and really gross looking on your lips. They don't get gummy or anything like that. They're just a really, really nice formula. They're $14 each. The mini lipsticks are $10 each. I can predict picking up at least 1 gloss and 1 of the lipsticks, but if I had my way, I would get all of them. I don't need all of them, but they do look so beautiful. Okay, so last but not least, if you've been watching my new release videos for any amount of time, and I haven't done them on a consistent basis for a while, I will give you that. But if you're an OG around here, you might remember my feelings on Beauty Blender and how I think it's just wildly overpriced for what it is. I don't think that they're anything special, and they just, for whatever reason, they just chap my ass. Anytime they release something, I don't care what it is, they release it and I'm like, I don't know. They've never done anything personally to me. I mean, I've had a Beauty Blender in the past. It's not like it fell apart in my hands or like injured my eye or anything, but they just grate on my nerves, and I don't know why. And this newest collection is no exception. So this is their Zodiac collection, where they have the sponge with the Zodiac things imprinted on them. You do not need a sponge with your fucking Zodiac sign imprinted on it. You don't. You are still a Gemini. You are still a Taurus or whatever, regardless of what is on your sponge or not on your sponge. You don't need to spend additional money for this. What? What? This is the very definition of gimmicky. Like, you know what? I mean, like, spend your money how you want, that's fine. They're not getting my money. I'm gonna buy my Pawpaw sponges from Shop Miss A for like $1.25, where some of that goes to charity, and they are fantastic quality. I'm not spending $26 on a sponge that reminds me that I'm a Gemini. Hard pass. All right. On that note, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up here. As always, I would love to hear from you in the comments on which items you are excited about, which ones you're not. You know how to work the comments section. You guys are fantastic at it. I'm not always great at responding, although I do read everything. I try to respond as much as I can, but I'm sorry. I apologize. There's really no excuse for it. I just apologize. At any rate, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.